All right, thank you. Next we have explore use of gamification for training. Hello, this is Dr. Joe Allen Sefton. Do you want to click or do you want to?
Forward back.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Good afternoon. So now that you're all settled in and all full and all drowsy, I get to talk. Okay. So for those of you who weren't here last time, I'll do a quick review of our project. We're project number 13. So Auburn has this project. I'm the director of the Warrior Research Center. And our team members include James Birdie, who's here today. He's a retired aviator with the Air Force and an instructor at the Auburn School of Aviation. Dr. Whitty, retired Army aviator, and our adult education and learning specialist. We also have a specialist in science of gamification who looks at eye tracking and how to best design games to have the best effect. And we have a psychologist who studies game theory and how best to use that for training. So while I'm talking about gamification, it's the use of games as a part of training. So games don't equal training, and it doesn't equal effective training. What we want to do is develop a game or a gamification process using gaming, virtual reality, augmented reality, whatever works best for that, and use that to improve the quality of training. And one thing we're working at is how best to do that for the incoming people that need to be trained, also for the people we have now, but mainly for those coming in. Now, everybody's been talking about the problems that we have, how we're going to lose some of our workforce, those kind of things, so I don't need to repeat that. And then our big industry partner is the Army Gaming Center. They do a lot of development. They do extraordinary work, so whatever we come up with, I have no doubt that they'll be able to develop with us. Okay, so our project, the goal is to provide initial training, improve skill, operational development, the ability to quickly train and effectively train at all levels in various different capacities. So at the academy, how do we train more people more effectively? How do we also train advanced folks once they get out, once they're certified? How do we improve that ability to stay up to date on things? And we've already talked about that a little bit. But we're also talking about developing a process here where they can do extensive training at the academy that may involve all kinds of virtual reality, but then access those when they get out to their airports and their towers and be able to do training there, and then maybe on their mobile devices. So we're talking about all different kinds of levels of this training. So this is what we were provided with, our tasks. So many of these were very kind of general. So what we did as a team is break these down into tasks, because we're very task-oriented people. And we developed 3 tasks that we need to accomplish before we hand off and tell our gamification people what we need. So we're going to look at the progress that we have on these 3 tasks. So I'm also a very deadline-oriented person. So this is our timeline and how we've gotten together. So we have our award. We've created task 1. That's complete. We're in the process of task 2 and halfway through task 3 now. And then our goal is to develop and provide a gamification module, just one module, to show the capability and what we plan on doing by May 2018. So this is a 17-month project. So in task 1, determine who we are training. We've talked a little bit about this. We're training millennials. They don't think like the rest of us do here in the room, okay? They're used to using gaming. They're used to using technology. It's how they think. We need to approach those people differently. And this is where Dr. Whitty comes in. He studies this group. He knows how to address these people, and he knows how we train them differently from our other populations. And also, we all learn differently. I'm very visual. You'll see a lot of pictures on my slides. That's how I think. Some people are very kinesthetic. They need to move to learn. So we can incorporate all of those different things into gamification and hopefully train everybody more quickly and more effectively. So here's what we've got. We've got most of the people coming in are going to be 22 to 26. Our mixture of genders, our education, ethnics, and those other things when we need to consider when developing a good training module. We've also done a systematic review. We're in that process, what's out there, what we need for gamification, and those things that need to be incorporated to be effective. And there will also be assessments in here. Are we being effective? Are people learning? And what do they think about what we do? Those assessments will be built in, because if we don't assess and see if we're doing any good, we can't tell if the product's any good or not. So we're also looking on the history of ATC training. We've worked with some of our partners on this, what's been done in the past, what's effective. We don't want to start over or reinvent the wheel. We want to use what's out there, but we also don't want to be tied down to that and only tweak what we've got. So in some ways, by being outsiders, and in some ways we can provide an outside of the box look and then find out if that can be effective. So we've developed some background. We're looking at specific training objectives. Over lunch, we set up a meeting to come back in January and really tour the academy well so we can find out what's been doing there, what's working, what's not working. Okay, also in process is task 3. So bringing this all together, determining what our first module will be. So our final deliverable for this phase 1 process is deliverable of a module that shows what this might look like and what we can do. And then we're going to hand that off to our gaming partner and have them develop that for us. We've visited several ATC sites. I'm also an athletic trainer, so ATC also means athletic trainers. Sometimes I slip. But we visited Hartsfield-Jackson's tower. They were wonderful. They spent the day with us. We talked to the trainers there. We talked to the ATCs there. They told us what worked, what didn't work, what problems we have. Also down in Atlanta, we had the approach when we visited that site. Spent a lot of time with the Sims there. Looked at some of their training and to see and talked to a lot of those people. Learned an awful lot, and they're going to be helping us in the future. So we need to develop what we want to do, and in talking to those people, the things that they mentioned they really want us to focus on is to be able to develop that knowledge base, what most training does, but they also wanted us to include in that the ability to prioritize what's going on in any different situation. Make sure we teach them critical thinking skills, how to handle different situations, communications, problem solving, and then of course the assessment. So what we're visualizing, again, is a game where we can start with one model and then build on that, and this module can be customized. So if I want to start at a single runway, add a 2 or 3 planes at a time. As this process is going on and the trainee learns, then the game will throw more difficult things at them. If I want to then go to a crossing runway or end up a model like Hartsfield-Jackson. So we can provide models in there that they just plug in, or you can develop your own. You can also throw other things at them. So if I want to have an airport on the plain, say it's Oklahoma, or if I want to add mountains, your wind conditions, your weather conditions are going to be different. Those change also. So you can throw different things at them. You have birds on the runway, all these different kinds of things. So we're going to throw more and more complex things at them. And every time they go in, the game will remember how difficult they got, what they're having trouble with. So if I have trouble with this specific situation, then it's going to throw more and more of those at you until you're better at that. And then as you get to different levels, then you can progress to the next level. So that's our big picture. Issues and concerns, we're still working on that MASH thing. So most of our partners are federal partners, and federal funds can't be matching funds. So we have a couple of ideas. Auburn does have a new supercomputer, so time on that might be able to be donated. We might be able to use that, so I'm working on that this weekend. But we are still working on that. And again, we have pictures of augmented reality there. You understand the difference between augmented reality and virtual reality. All of those different components can be applied in this game theory. And I think she said we'll take questions, but does anybody else have any questions for me for now? Okay, very good, thank you.